Hi everyone, Rick here, and welcome back to another episode of the Ditch Pig Experience. In today's video, we're going to be hooking up this CAN bus cable so I can hook the laptop up to the Holley Terminator. And I've also got the splitter so that I can run the handheld at the exact same time. I've had this stuff for a while and I haven't used it yet. Today is going to be the day. I'm going to make a couple changes to the tune. I've been having some issues with sometimes when I'm off the gas and pull up to like a stop sign or a stoplight, it'll stall on the down rev. And I've been told one of the ways to fix that is to add some timing just below your idle, so that when it does start to rev down, the extra timing helps to keep the engine running. So I think my timing at idle is about 20 degrees, so I'm going to bump it up to like 23, 24 degrees. So you just fill all the columns in the tune before idle, fill them up with the higher timing, and hopefully it fixes the problem. We'll find out. Something else I picked up for the truck just recently. I grabbed another transmission from the same guy that I bought the 6-liter from back when I did the swap. Thanks, Jared. This is another SM465, tighter than the one that's in it. If you watched the video back when I swapped that transmission in, I told you that there was a lot of play in it, but that was the transmission that I had, so I put it in and ran it. And it's got some crazy driveline swap in it. Sometimes when I let off the gas and it's coasting, it starts to buck a bit as the slop in the driveline comes into effect, and I've got to shove the clutch in order to stop it. It's really annoying, so hopefully this transmission solves that problem and I can get the thing tightened up a little bit. So that'll be in a future video. Not like I want to change this transmission again, but it has to be done. I'm going to take that and clean it up and paint it before I put it in. So yeah, no big deal to this. Just pop the glove box open, fold her down. So that's her right there. And that is the handhold that's plugged into that right now. So yeah, like I said, when I hook this back up, I'm going to put the splitter where that handheld is, and that way I can hook the handheld into that, and this will be for the laptop. The main reason that I'm doing that is because every time I'm going to hook this laptop up, I would have to unplug it and plug it back in via the CAN bus adapter. These connectors don't look like the strongest things in the world. If I have the splitter, I'll have this plugged in all the time and I can just plug that into the laptop. These I know are tough. They can handle being hooked up and unhooked all the time. These ones can't. And I think this splitter was like 20 bucks or something like that. I can't remember, but it was cheap. Cheap insurance that I'm not going to wreck the cable that's coming out of the harness by unplugging this CAN bus adapter over and over again. So the way that you unhook this, you just press down this little tab right here and it pops out. So yeah, I'll get this unplugged. And then I plug the splitter in. Done deal. And then I'll plug the handheld into the splitter. Simple as that. So now what I'm going to do is connect this splitter. I'm going to quick tie it to the main harness here so that it doesn't have the ability to move around and whatnot. I'll also quick tie this CAN bus adapter. If the cable gets pulled on while I'm using the laptop, it's not putting tension on these little tiny wires, because like I say, they're kind of a fragile looking unit. And this cable, by the time I got it to the house, was pretty much 100 bucks. So I prefer to keep it in one piece. So I put a bunch of quick ties on this. Might seem like overkill, but the way this thing bounces around, and if I have to dig in underneath it here, I don't want to accidentally snag. So I got both these connectors here hooked down nicely, and the wire loops up around for the handheld, and then the wire for the CAN bus adapter is right here. When I close the glove box, that wire will just sit like this. I'll leave it in the dash. If I got to do some tuning, open the dash and pull the wire out. Okay, now that's done, I'll grab the laptop and we'll hook up the Holley to the computer. I already have the software downloaded and everything. Yeah, maybe we'll make some changes to this thing and see if we can get it to work a little better. Okay, I got the Holley plugged into the laptop. We'll open the software. It gives us this menu. Let's do download from ECU.
4 hours later.
Across the top here, that's your fuel injector. So there's the fuel map, EFI. This is basically a lot of the information that you put in the wizard when you go to set it up. Idle spark, IAC control, ramp down. This is something that I made changes to, and it might be part of the problem with why it's doing what it's doing. But I'm not entirely sure because I don't really know what some of this stuff does. So I can't remember what this was at, but I'm going to bump this up to 50% for 40. Let's give another second to this ramp decay time. And I don't think I'll touch anything else. Okay, so this is the map here that we need to look at for the spark. This is kind of the area where I put a preset in for 20 degrees. This is the area where I got to make a couple changes. My idle is at 900, basically from like 900 down. I'm going to increase the timing all in these columns here by like 3-4 degrees. I think I'll do 3 to start, and then I'll just go from there. So yeah, I just switched that to a 2D table. That looks like what most people use when they're tuning on here. It's a lot easier to see too. Plus it has this smooth feature over here. I'm gonna click that because any table I've seen tuners use, it wasn't like gridded off like this. Yeah, so on simple, it gives you these. This is what you get on the wizard, on the handheld. It gives you the ability to just change your idle, your cruise, or your wide open. And when you go to the 2D table, that's why it looks like that. See, I'm just learning this stuff. I have no idea. It's all Greek to me, but I'm gonna figure it out so that I can make adjustments to this thing and hopefully not blow it up. But that's the whole point of getting this software and whatnot, is just so you can make the adjustments. Okay, so we're gonna make this 23 degrees. Boom, that's done. So I selected everything on this and then hit the smooth button. So yeah, it goes like right before it switches over, it goes to 22.9, 22. So it just smoothed everything. So hopefully that'll help with transitioning, because sometimes this old pig's a little hitchy, so hopefully that'll help with that. Okay, I started this thing up and I'm doing the live thing with it. It's got this thing that bounces around, shows exactly where you're at. So on this learn table, it shows what it's compensating, pulling fuel out or adding fuel, and you can transfer this to your other table. And then it goes back to doing the same thing. All the cells that it sees, it repopulates, adding fuel or taking fuel out. Making a couple other changes here too. Before my rev limiter was spark only, I made it fuel and spark, and I set it a high and low because like my Yukon's rev limiter has a certain sound, this one didn't, and I wanted that sound. So I'll show you what it sounds like. I'll set it up 3900, 4 grand. And this is what it sounds like. Now I'll switch it back to 6800 and 6700. So yeah, that basically concludes the tuning session for me. Like I say, it's my first time I ever hooked up to that thing. Very limited knowledge, but figured out how to do the rev limiter the way I want it, made the changes to the timing just below idle that I wanted, a couple other things, smoothed out the graph, which it had no smoothing whatsoever. That'll help hopefully with any transition that it makes. Yeah, let's take it for a little cruise and just see how it works now, see if it's any better. I'll tell you what, it is hot in this thing today. We went for a cruise into town. Everything seems like it's better, smoother, where I smoothed all the transitions for the spark and the air fuel and stuff like that. Putting that timing in before idle, that seemed to help too. It's definitely better than what it was. And when I come up to a stop sign now, it doesn't have the tendency to stall. I'm not exactly sure what caused that problem. It was probably me adjusting things and not knowing what I was doing on the handheld, because I didn't have that issue until recently. So something obviously got changed, and I was in there fiddling around. So I did change a couple of the ramp settings for the decel. So yeah, it probably had something to do with that. So it was kind of cool to finally get that thing plugged into the computer and check it out, see all the live feed for the gauges. Truly an awesome computer, and I am going to delve into it deeper at some point in time. Hopefully I can figure out the ins and outs of it, just get the basic ideas. But anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.